Welcome back to another episode on all of the new tools that we have purchased to enable us to do awesome things from titanium Damascus. Last time this, and that arrived. This morning I went ahead and put a light on the guillotine. How sick is that? It's gonna be really nice to be able to see exactly where we're cutting. I'm still waiting on the rest of our hydraulic oil to arrive for the surface grinder. But the job I've decided on for the rest of the morning, probably gonna be the rest of the day, is getting our new extractor out of the grinding room and outside into the elements. I want it on the other side of this wall, right about here. Let's get to work. Woo! Hello! Right, check this out. Can't quite hear it. We got ourselves a running dust extractor. Oh yeah, it sucks. Very nice. And our ductwork has arrived. Righto, so this is where our extractor pulls from. One of the things that's incredibly important in a grinding room is making sure that sparks don't get to the extractor, because that can cause a fire. So I bought this thing, 320 pounds. It's a spark trap that supposedly kills the sparks. But I also want to make sure we position this in such a way that no sparks ever even get to the inlet. Either we're going to be going straight up or maybe across this way. I don't know. Well, I tell you what, I am thrilled about that. It even sucks the door open. We got a bloody dust extractor. Look at me. I'm growing up ever so slightly. About time we get back onto working on this surface grinder of ours. Now, I've just hopped on the phone with an incredibly helpful grinding wheel company. Because obviously, this thing needs replacing. Remember in the last episode, we had to use some heat to get the flange that holds the wheel off of the wheel. Now, we'd stopped filming by the time that I noticed it, but there was this oozy stuff oozed out all over the place. But I hopped on the phone and got some very good advice about the wheel that we need to replace this. Turns out the oozy stuff is most likely some sort of plastic bushing, because the hole in the wheel, this bore, is 80 millimeters in diameter, and this flange right here, that is 76.2 millimeters in diameter. So obviously it needed some sort of a bush. Now for our wheel, it needs to be not quite custom made, but modified, because the 76.2 millimeter isn't necessarily a standard bore size for the size of the wheel, and we're also getting a 12-inch wheel. Enormous. Now down here, I have a manual. How lucky am I? I found a manual for sale. Slightly less lucky that it cost £100, but this thing is a bloody treasure trove, because it's not just a manual about the machine, but it's also got tons of operating tips and instructions and general surface grinder best practices, which is awesome. But I'm also hoping it's gonna help me figure out what these spare parts I pulled out of the hydraulic tank are. Pull the suction filter off, put it in the ultrasonic, so it's cleaning right now. It feels most intuitive that these parts kind of go together like that, and maybe go in there. So I don't want to push this in so far and then not be able to get it out. Well, I guess I could use a magnet. Uh-oh, it just went past something. Oh no, why? Okay, now we've got it out. What's that meant to bloody do? Does it just get lost down there? I guess I could always disassemble it if worst comes to worst. Okay, found a hard stop. Pop that on, slide all that in, screw this. And I can't exactly tell from the manual, but I think this might be some sort of pressure relief valve. Oh, delightful. Well, it's gonna be time to change the ultrasonic fluid. This filter is very cool, and it fits in with a little bayonet attachment. So it's only because of the manual I knew how to get it off. That's pretty good. And on the note of hydraulics, our oil turned up. Delightful. Next up, unfortunately, the rest of the old coolant needs to come out still. Right, now we can fill the tank back up. Wow, it's gonna take ages. The cutting fluid, that really pretty green cutting fluid I use, is Rocol V-Cut SS. About 50-to-1 ratio. I'm really not qualified enough to say if this is the best cutting fluid there is, but what I like about it is it's very pretty. Nobody really likes the look of that milky stuff that most cutting fluid looks like. Okay, then the coolant pump. Coolant pump lives there. Also got this additional little skimmer that just seems like it Slots in there, I guess. Lid sits on top. Next up, this spindle needs some oil. In fact, it doesn't need oil, it needs kerosene. You can see it right there on the little plaque. This will be my first time using kerosene as lubricant. In the manual, we can see it runs in super precision gamut bearings. Now, this is where the wheel goes on. Looks like there's a bearing here and a bearing there. And those bearings run, by the looks of it, half submerged in the kerosene. It's wired up. I'm gonna make sure everything is switched off. Like, everything needs to look like the off position, you know what I mean? Because I don't know what any of these things do. Everything to low, off, okay. Power is on at the wall. Main switch, on. Nothing's happened, nothing. Ah. Absolutely nothing has happened. No, nothing worked. I heard some of the contactor switching, so something was happening. I heard a little wee, gentle whine, and then I'd press the buttons and some of these electronics were doing things, I just don't know what. It's definitely not my smartest moment that for all the time that I've spent fiddling with this, I didn't consider the possibility that there might be fuses, but I found 2 fuses and they don't look particularly good. After getting my own multimeter and fiddling around, I chased the wires from up here down the back of the panel to this funny thing. I had no idea what it was, but I used the little picture setting in Google Lens to snap a picture, and up came some stuff about fuses. So I took it apart, found these things, did the same thing, which helped me find out what type of fuse it was, and I've ordered a bunch of fuses. I'm going to have a serious supply of fuses here, because fuses that came out were 4 amps. On the front of it, it says 25 amps. I know this machine is going to need to draw more than 4 amps, so get some options. They're going to arrive tomorrow morning. I'm going to reinstall the panel and get it all set up. I know that the switch is good, so I'm feeling pretty confident that this must be the missing link. While we wait for the fuses, I want to get our spindle flange wheel holders all cleaned up, but something has just arrived from down under in Australia. My friend Corin has sent me something I'm very excited to unbox. Oh, that is beautiful. That is a carbide Nyrock straightening hammer. Nyrock is Corin spelled backwards. What a delightful hammer. It's got a brass body and a carbide ball here at the tip, and it's so that when you have a warped blade after the heat treat, you can use this. It'll actually make tiny little dents into the hardened steel because of how hard the carbide is, and you can deform the surface of it such that you can get the blade straight. Oh, I think we should try it. This thing's got a big old bow in it. Well, that's just incredible. It did the bloody job in about a minute flat. More goodies. Beautiful hand deburrer. The thing's carbide as well, quickly deburring holes. That makes me so happy. He's gone and put me dogs on this smaller deburrer. That's crazy, and is also crazy. And again, a carbide scribe. Wow. Thank you for these beautiful tools, Corin. What a guy. He didn't ask for anything in return, but Corin, like so many people, has been very, very good to me over the years. So you should go check him out, Nyrock Tools. To this stuff. Thank you so much. Hope you have a good day. Drive safe. I'm so bad at acting. The delivery driver's not even here. But you know what is here? Fuses. Oh, they're broken. Wow, that's a lot of fuses. Every single 4 amp fuse that we bought, which is the identical one that came out of the machine, is broken. But we're gonna be very naughty and put a 6 amp in there. Okay. Now we check both of them are working. That's working. That's working. Obvious concern is that if there is a bust fuse in there, a blown fuse, what caused the fuse to blow? Are there other problems? Is there shorting? Am I about to get zapped? Hopefully that's not foreshadowing. Plug that in. Nothing. Oh! What? Oh my! What just happened, Jay? What button did I press? I think I pressed this. Okay, the hydraulic pump is working. You can see it stirring up all the hydraulic oil. So when this is upright, I can get the hydraulic to disengage even when the motor's on, and I can move the table how I like. But then as I come back around, we can control the speed of the table. Wow, that's got some pizzazz, you know what I mean? Now, spindle. Woo! Yes, baby. Look at her go. We should be able to get 2,800. That's 2,800 RPM. Oh. Oh, something bad just happened. I was trying to switch this back and it was going, and then I think the machine turned off and we might have just blown the fuse. See, this only turns in one direction, and I think I tried to turn it back and something bad happened. And if we just blew a fuse, that could explain something. Maybe there's something about that switch that's all funky. This plaque used to be on the switch, and it used to hold it in that orientation. So perhaps this is something the previous owners of the surface grinder knew about, or it's kind of one of two things. Either there's something wrong with the switch and there's a problem and it just caused it to go wrong, or two, it's easy as an operator to mess up the machine and blow a fuse.
That works? That works. Okay.
The fuses work. Why did it just stop running? Oh, that popped out. Maybe these can trip when it's overloaded, eh? Try again. Turn that on. Hydraulic pump is on. Spindle is on. Or if I go up a speed, speed goes up fine. Oh, see? It did it again. It went up a speed, and then the motor just cut out. I don't think it likes high speed, and I think that's why this was there. How about we see what the coolant looks like? I switch this. Look at that beautiful green goodness. I'm happy about that. The table moves side to side on hydraulics, but it moves in and out on y-axis. Thanks to that motor, well, it should do. Ooh. That's weird. Weird noises again, right? It's like the motor doesn't like existing. Maybe it just needs running. What is that? Turn the spindle off. Just deal with this stuff for now. What I want in and out. Woo! I really need to work on my jumpiness. Something happened there. Okay! This is a selector for going away, and this is what actuates it. Why did it just stop? I want to go that way. Didn't like that. I think there's something wrong with that motor. Or these switches. I don't know. Let me see if I can call somebody. See if we can get a professional in. Hello there, I'm virtual service rendering. Called an actual professional. Hopefully in the next couple of days they arrive and hopefully they figure out what is going on. What now, Jamie?
Let's go go-karting.
So while we wait, since this is a video about workshop improvement and tools, I think it'd be a good time to talk about my drawers. No, Jamie, not those. These ones right here. They're provided by today's sponsor, MeUndies, and they are oh so comfortable. They have an incredible range of underwear in all styles imaginable. No matter your preference, whether you like your undies nice and long like me, or you ride high to the sky, they've got the style for you in an incredible set of colorways and patterns. My favorite part about MeUndies, though, is they are incredibly comfortable. The micro-modal fabric that they use is breathable, light, and it's oh so soft. God, this feels weird. Sorry, Jamie, I'm in my underwear in the workshop, but with underwear this comfortable, you just can't help it. I can't stand uncomfortable underwear. I feel like it really takes away from my joy of living and my productivity in the workshop. I hope that you guys decide to treat your meat and veg to some deluxe comfort by going to meundies.com/forge and using code FORGE at checkout. You'll get 20% off your order plus free shipping. I think you're really gonna love them. And they've also got tons of styles for the ladies too. Let's get back to these drawers, shall we?
Yeah, what are we gonna do with these?
Right, we need to do some organization. Good progress has been made on the drawers. I have given our grinding wheel flanges a very good clean, and now it's on to making the arbor that we talked about earlier for balancing it. Now, I will mention that I've got grinding wheels on the way, and the guy on the phone said not likely to be a big deal to have to balance it. You see, they're in the business of enormous grinding wheels. You know, like for me, a 300mm or 12-inch grinding wheel is just monstrous. For them, not a big deal. He said, you should expect the wheel to be pretty well balanced from when I get it from them, but just in case, in order to dot our I's and cross our T's, get the best surface finishes possible with this thing, I'm gonna make ourselves a little balancing arbor real quick on the lathe. Ah! Whoops. This is not blue Dicom.
That's pretty good. Oh, goodness gracious.
Whee! Happy, happy. I'm pretty happy with that. This would have been a good candidate for a tool post grinder. Cutting Edge Engineering made one of those a while ago, and whoa, it looks like a nice tool to have for the lathe. Effectively gives you the ability to kind of put a surface grinder on your lathe to grind your diameters and improve the surface finish and accuracy. Anyway, I don't have one of those, so we don't have the best surface finish, but I think it's gonna do the job, and it's as accurate as it needs to be. It's 10 to 10 in the morning. The electrical engineer who's meant to come have a look at this, he's hopefully gonna arrive in about the next hour or so. Tomorrow, our gigantic surface grinding wheel is going to arrive, but we're not yet ready. See this right here? That's in the way of a big wheel. That is a spindle head mounted wheel dresser. You see it traverses really nicely, allowing the diamond tip to be able to cut off some of the grinding wheel and make it run concentric. But this handle that allows it to go up or down is completely seized, and so that's hardly good. I also don't intend to use this as our primary wheel dressing solution. I'm just gonna use a magnetic chuck mounted wheel dresser because I actually suspect this is going to be less accurate than dressing the wheel based off exactly what the chuck is doing. This relies on the mechanism that sends it in and out being perfectly true to the table. On an old machine like this, it's probably been banged around. I doubt it will be anymore. Anyway, let's get it loose. Yay! My favorite type of solution. One that's solved with a hammer. Oh, God, it's all it needed. Best tool in the universe. Oh, good, good, good. That's what this is. Threaded here to move it up and down. Little hole with a set screw, bish bash bosh. This thing obviously is pooped. I'll probably still buy a diamond for it. So if we want to, we'd be able to use it, even though we don't plan to. Stow it up here. The electrical engineer has now been and gone. He dug around here, checking resistance, voltage, all that good stuff. We had a play, and we think we have a solution to two of the crucial things. He doesn't see an issue with the spindle motor from how he can see it. He reckons kerosene in the spindle makes no sense as a lubricant, despite it being printed here. And when the spindle heats up, because it's not being lubricated properly, it's just seizing, and that's what's tripping the motor. So that's great, because that's a super easy fix. Just chuck some spindle oil in there. But then, of course, we had the issue with this wide traverse motor. He thinks the motor is just completely dead. This side of the machine is the side where all of the coolant and grinding dust gets sent. And opening up the little box on the side of it, it obviously looks like that motor has suffered some water damage, and he's gonna take it back to his workshop, put it on the scope, see if it's a candidate for rewiring or not. Or we'll just buy a standard motor from him and fit this special flange and this little gear to a brand new motor. I dropped it in the coolant. Overall, great news. We're making headway on diagnosing the problems and getting it fixed. I need a receptacle. A receptacle. All right, let's get this drained. That's not the color it went in. Just got a phone call, the motor's kaput, so I'm gonna go pick one up from his shop.
Old and new.
Here's the flange that I can put on for you.
Yeah.
I either put on one like that, and you make a bigger disc to bolt onto this, and then make it to that diameter, and then you can bolt to it.
And so we are back in the workshop. And of course, the motors are not exactly identical. This one is from 1966. This one is from today. We're gonna have to do some modifying, aren't we? Oh yes. Need to make a little adapter plate. Hell yeah. These little gear teeth have had some damage. Maybe that's some of the problem. Like a glove. She's on, but now we have to deal with the wiring, which is going to be all sorts of a delightful drama, because there is not a lot of cable. Nowhere near enough, in fact. And the little box that houses the electrical components, the third screw, lines up oh so wonderfully with this hunk of cast iron. Yay for that. Power on. Oh, Oh, I almost made a big oopsie. I need to put oil in the spindle.
We got two options.
I got spindle oil 5 and spindle oil 10. Of course, it's all very confusing. I really don't have any idea what should be in here. But hopefully spindle oil will be better than the kerosene that the machine suggested. I only spilt about a quarter of the pot. Main switch, on. Hydraulic pump, on. Sweet. Spindle, on. Now, traverse motor. This is the moment of truth. It works! Woo! She's flying. Oh my goodness, look! It's turning it automatically. This wheel, that motor that we just installed, is being turned automatically based on the Trable Traverse. What? See if the spindle's warm. Nope, not at all. Even though it's been running for a few minutes on low speed, so that means, let's be naughty. See how she does on high speed. See if the oil did it. Oh yeah, she's flying. Ah! It seized up again. Maybe this thing is just not built for that high-speed life. The core things work, which is good. Now, we gotta deal with some more of the odds and ends. How about this dirty mag chuck? Right now, it's only on. This handle here is meant to turn it off by pulling it in one way or another, but it's very wobbly, and I don't know what is happening. This must have got stiff, then this broke. Then they must have tried repairing that. Righto, mag chuck has to come off. How am I going to pick this up? That's hardly confidence inspiring. All right, I think that plan is a bust now that this has picked up a warp. Let's see if I can straighten it. Oh. Oh yeah, that's much better. What a waste of time. Only an idiot would do this. This is dumb. This is stupid. Oh my goodness, I think it worked. Oh, whew. I have to say, that is not in bad condition. Somebody clearly thought about oiling it before they put the mag chuck down. There's only a little bit of rust at the back. Let's flip this thing over.
Up we go. Oh, that's my phone.
I was really hoping I could avoid this, but I think, given that this was very stiff, even though the handle was wobbly, I should probably break it open, see what's inside, see what's causing it to get stuck. Because if I go and make a brand new handle, and then it's still stiff, and I just shear it again and make it worse, we're hardly in a good spot. So, let's do the prudent thing and crack it on open. This should come off. Come on! Loosen yourself. Yeah, I don't know how I felt about that either. I wonder if because the magnet is on, it won't release. Because it's stuck in the on position, it's just held with all the force of those magnets. But once we get it a little bit of the way, it's gonna be a lot easier. Woo. Okay. Oh, it's little steel strips. That's wild. So there's a little movement in the handle, but then nothing happens. And what I feel should be happening is this entire block of magnets should be shunting up and down. This wiggles, that wiggles, that wiggles, but nothing else. What do we do? I'm just gonna have to take it apart. I don't know how it's gonna go back together, but it's gotta come apart, right? This is just fabulously enjoyable. Let me show you some of the things we've uncovered. The thing was obviously just completely covered in gunk. Now we found that our handle actuates some little eccentric cams. So from a larger bit of bar, they then turn off of center these little cams. The ones on the outside are good, but the ones in the middle are really severely corroded. Because what I've noticed is the case has tons of little areas where the water has been able to seep in and cause all sorts of corrosion. Tell you what, this mag chuck doesn't seem like the highest quality item. All the screw holes just poke into the edge of this aluminium frame. Look at that. Over here, Mrs. Steele has been cruising away, getting these bars of magnets cleaned up. And those cams act on these little lobes right here. And on the first three, they're connected. But on the fourth one, it's bloody snapped off. Not good. We can now get a little bit of a better look at what is going on. So this thing is loose. And you see, that is how it's connected. There's a little head right there. It seems to wobble on this first little bit of the stack and almost pull in and out. So what about the other end? There is a little hex head. Seen a little clearer there. So I think all of these have a threaded bar that runs the whole way down, and it's that threaded bar that's snapped on this one. Very strange how loose it feels over here, and I don't know if it's intentional. My assumption is that considering this is what pulls the block of magnets back and forth to be able to turn on and off the mag chuck, you'd want it to be rigid. One of the very few things I know for certain is that this is meant to be attached to that somehow. Can we get that shaft, that threaded bar out? And can we replace it? This is the moment we get it permanently attached to my welding table. Woo! Wow, that's on there. I'll give us something good to hammer on there at least. It does not appear to be moving. Oh, I'm an idiot. I just broke one of the bits of magnet. Trying to hit that rod through, this crack opened up. So that was very smart. Oh, it's fine. It wasn't the end of a bolt. It was literally a nut. Now it looks like it is literally threaded rod. Bloody brilliant, yay. So the thread only starts about here. There's no way it's coming out. I'm pretty sure that's been glued in there. I just had a closer look at this piece that fell off, and there is definitely a little slotted nut with the remnant of the thread that came off here. A little bronze or copper spacer, and that gets sucked on to the end of the magnet stack. I can only assume this needs to be tight onto there. It's the only thing I can assume. So I'm gonna see if I can take these end keepers off, clean up the threads, and re-tighten them back on. And then what we do with this little fella is still yet to be determined. Took some of the high spots off these rusty bits. 3 of these nuts are serviceable. There is one that needs to be remade. I don't know what it is about the obsession with aluminium, but there's more aluminium parts that obviously have suffered from galvanic corrosion. Look at that ugliness. So let's get rid of the aluminium, shall we? 2 of those washers appear to be bronze, and they look in perfectly fine condition. Let's make some replacements out of bronze. Dropped it. Well, that's not a lot of thread, is it? If I had a surface grinder, I could grind a face of this die down so that there's no longer any lead in. Well, I have a grinder. Oh yes, that gets us a little bit closer. Much better. This is how it's gonna go. Spacer piece, that goes there. It threads, and hopefully goes nice and tight without any wibble wobble. And that means we can bypass our broken bit of magnet. All right, let's clean it up, put some Loctite on it. Now, Jamie, how easy do you think this is gonna be to get off the table? Oh yeah, that goes there. We're gonna get all of these on all the others. I hate magnets.
Like the opposite of Jesse Pinkman.
Does he like magnets?
Yeah,
Please don't strip the threads. Okay, we're gonna put this thing back together. Big question here now, grease or thick oil? Oil is easier to clean up if we have to take it apart. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm developing quite the collection of oil types. This is gear oil. Whoa, this is not a toy, I promise. All right, this is number 4. Imagine I just crush my hand in there with the magnet and I never get it out. Woo! Okay, now, does one of them move? Whoa! Get some! All right, see this? Screwdriver. Stuck to it magnetically, turn the handle, get in, Nelly! Oh! Never want to see the inside of a mag chuck again. Number 2. No! It's sheared the nut off. See, this is loose. No. Well, we gotta get that one out now. Oh, just ripped right off. Let's see how this one works. Oh, it's a bit wobbly. It might not be broken.
you're gonna have to do them all because otherwise it's probably gonna break.
All right, got them in. Gonna give the thread locker a little bit of time to set up, and then we'll put them in the chuck. So while the Loctite sets, how about we unbox some more tools?
Have you bought a giant Rubik's Cube?
It's very funny that that's the first thing you'd think of. You remember I talked about the need for balancing. We've of course made ourselves our balancing arbor. Well, I did discuss the idea of building a balancing jig, especially after I saw that they were £300. I went and found on eBay. Oh, it's nicely packaged, I like that. Yeah, God, they did a good job. I tell you, I bloody appreciate that packaging. You know, this is the type of thing that's very fragile, and if you were not considerate, you could easily just chuck this in a box and ship it, but then it would be damaged. Ta-da! And it's got this handle here. It raises, or rather, it drops these sides to lift up these blades, and it's these blades that are the balancing blades. So that keeps it safe. Aww, this is a little bubble level. And so we'll level this all out off of the bubble level, and then our grinding wheel will go on here, and we'll be able to balance it, which we could do right now if our grinding wheel was here. It was meant to arrive a week and a half ago. Next up, oh, shoot. Next up, we've got a little upgrade to the old Twisty Wisties. I have very kindly been sent by this Japanese company, Nipro's Tools. Ooh, a delightful collection of new tools. That is, feel that, Jamie?
Wow, that's a nice wrench.
Spanner. Oh, that's nice. Woo. Breaker bar, a little hand turner. Gorgeous. Why? Woo. Oh, but there's more. The most modern thing in this workshop is within here. Literally nothing in here is as new as this. I have been sent a Wazer Pro. That is a water jet machine. These last two videos have been about upgrading the capabilities in the workshop. That's what the surface grinder, the guillotine, all these tools are for. And this, within this crate, gives us so many more possibilities in terms of the awesome things to make. So thank you, Wazer. We're gonna unbox that another time. I think our Loctite is good to go. There is hope. Now we just got to get back on. Oh yeah, that's pretty flat, isn't it? It's got a horrible bow on it. I can almost get a ruler underneath. I think this might be too long for this table, because where it clamps down, there's a little ledge right here, and I think it's bending the whole chuck. We're gonna need to put some shim stock under here, I reckon. Magnets off. Magnets on. Woo! Off. We've done it. Folks, now if we had the wheel, we'd be able to skim off the chuck and make it perfectly flat and be ready to use it right now. But since we don't, I want to say thank you for being here. It's very, very special that we get to buy all these tools and spend all this time getting them up and running, and that's thanks to you and our sponsors. And today, that was MeUndies. It's very, very special to have such comfortable underwear. MeUndies.com/forge. Don't forget to check them out. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.